There are some people who wake up on their birthday, look at the date, and feel almost nothing. No excitement, no special plans, no countdown. They go to work, attend meetings, reply to messages, and treat the day as if it were any other. Many of this feels unusual. In a world where birthdays are marketed as personal holidays, where social media reminds everyone to celebrate themselves publicly, treating a birthday like a normal day can seem cold, distant, or even sad. But psychologically, this behavior is rarely random. It is meaningful. It tells a story about identity, emotional conditioning, self-worth, attachment, and how a person has learned to relate to attention, validation, and time itself. From a psychological perspective, a birthday represents more than cake and candles. It is a symbolic marker of existence. It is the one day culturally dedicated to the idea that you matter. When someone minimizes that day, we are not simply observing a preference. We are observing a belief system. Human beings are not born indifferent to celebration. As children, most of us are naturally responsive to rituals. We associate them with safety, belonging, and reward. If a child's early birthdays were joyful, warm, and emotionally safe, their brain encoded birthdays as positive reinforcement. If, however, birthdays were forgotten, chaotic, criticized, or overshadowed by family conflict, the brain encoded a different meaning. Over time, that meaning shapes adult behavior. The brain is highly associative. It links events with emotions. If a birthday repeatedly coincided with disappointment, neglect, financial stress, parental absence, or embarrassment, the mind learns to downregulate expectations as a protective strategy. This is not weakness. It is adaptation. The nervous system prefers emotional neutrality over repeated hurt. So instead of anticipating joy, the person learns to expect nothing. Eventually, expecting nothing feels safer than hoping for something. There are also personality-based factors. Some individuals possess high levels of trait independence and low levels of social validation need. They derive identity from internal standards rather than external recognition. For them, celebration feels unnecessary because their sense of worth is not dependent on public acknowledgement. This can reflect healthy autonomy. However, in other cases, indifference masks discomfort with being the center of attention. Some people experience subtle anxiety when focus shifts onto them. Birthdays, by definition, spotlight the individual. For someone who grew up in an environment where visibility invited criticism or pressure, being celebrated can unconsciously trigger vulnerability. We must also consider cultural conditioning. In some families, humility is strongly emphasized. Drawing attention to oneself is subtly discouraged. A child raised with messages like, "Don't make a fuss, stay modest," or others have bigger problems may internalize the belief that celebrating themselves is selfish. As adults, they might genuinely feel uncomfortable when others attempt to plan something for them. Their refusal to celebrate is not because they lack value, but because their internal moral code equates self-focus with ego. Now let us examine behavior closely. When a person insists that their birthday is just another day, what are we actually seeing? Often we see emotional minimization. They may brush off greetings quickly, change the subject, or downplay gifts. If someone throws them a surprise, they might smile politely, but appear slightly tense. Their body language may show subtle stiffness, shoulders tight, laughter brief, eyes scanning the room instead of relaxing into the moment, suggests. Not necessarily dislike, but discomfort with prolonged attention. If a person actively avoids telling others their birthday, it may indicate low expectation. They do not want to test whether people will remember. Avoidance becomes a way to prevent disappointment. The mind calculates, if I don't make it known, I cannot feel forgotten. This is a defense mechanism rooted in emotional self-protection. On the other hand, if someone openly says, "I don't celebrate birthdays, I just don't care," yet they continue functioning normally and show contentment in other areas of life, this may simply reflect a practical mindset. They may view time linearly rather than symbolically. To them, progress is measured in daily discipline, not annual reflection. We also see differences in reaction patterns. Some individuals become unusually productive on their birthday. Schedule extra tasks, immerse themselves in work, or pursue fitness goals that day. Psychologically, this can represent an attempt to convert existential reflection into measurable achievement. Birthdays remind us of aging. Aging reminds us of mortality. Productivity temporarily quiets that discomfort. It gives the illusion of control over time. Now consider the opposite. When someone does not show indifference, when they eagerly anticipate their birthday plan events, or express clear desire for acknowledgement, this often reveals comfort with visibility and a secure sense of relational worth. They believe others will show up. They expect warmth. This expectation is usually rooted in past experience. When someone does not show that anticipation, it does not automatically mean insecurity, but it does suggest a different history of reinforcement. Emotionally, birthdays can activate identity review. The brain automatically engages in life evaluation. Where am I compared to where I thought I would be? For individuals who feel behind in career, relationships, or personal milestones, a birthday can become a silent reminder of perceived failure. Minimizing the day helps avoid confronting that comparison. If you do not treat the day as significant, you do not have to measure progress against it. In relationships, the way someone treats their birthday can reveal attachment style. An anxiously attached individual might say they do not care, but secretly hope someone proves them wrong. They might give subtle hints, then feel hurt if those hints go unnoticed. An avoidantly attached person may genuinely prefer minimal attention. They feel safest when emotional intensity remains low. For them, too much celebration can feel invasive in daily life. You might observe that a person who treats their birthday normally also struggles to celebrate other achievements. They complete a project, receive praise, and quickly move on. Deflect compliments. This pattern often reflects a broader difficulty with internalizing positive feedback. Their self-concept may be built on performance, not presence. Birthdays celebrate presence simply existing. For someone who equates worth with output, feels undeserved. There are also individuals who experience existential anxiety around aging. Every birthday is a marker of time passing. For those highly aware of mortality, the day can trigger subtle dread. Instead of consciously expressing fear, they detach emotionally. They treat the day like any other to neutralize the reminder that life is finite. This reaction is particularly common in people who have experienced early loss or trauma. When you've seen how fragile life is, counting years can feel heavy rather than joyful. Subconsciously, some people associate birthdays with relational imbalance. As children, perhaps they were required to host relatives they disliked, perform gratitude excessively, or manage others' expectations. The brain then encodes birthdays as social obligation rather than pleasure. As adults, eliminating celebration removes the burden. Let us also consider control. Some individuals dislike unpredictability. Birthdays often involve surprises, emotional displays, and deviation from routine. Highly structured personalities may experience stress when routines are disrupted. By insisting it is a normal day, they maintain psychological order. However, there can be side effects to chronic minimization. When a person consistently denies themselves moments of acknowledgement, it may gradually reinforce an internal narrative of invisibility. Over years, this can contribute to low self-esteem. Humans are social creatures. Rituals of recognition strengthen belonging. If someone repeatedly rejects those rituals, they may unintentionally distance themselves from emotional intimacy. Friends might eventually stop trying. The person then interprets this as confirmation that they were right to expect nothing. There is also the issue of emotional suppression. If someone feels disappointment but insists they do not care, that unprocessed emotion does not disappear. It often manifests as irritability, fatigue, or quiet resentment. For example, a person may tell everyone not to plan anything, but feel slightly hurt when the day passes quietly. That internal conflict between stated indifference and hidden desire creates cognitive dissonance. Over time, such dissonance can erode emotional clarity in romantic relationships. Mismatched birthday expectations can cause misunderstanding. One partner might see birthdays as meaningful bonding opportunities, while the other views them as trivial. Without communication, each interprets the other's stance as rejection. The celebratory partner feels unappreciated for their effort. The indifferent partner feels pressured. What appears to be about cake is actually about emotional language. Long term, consistently treating oneself as unworthy of celebration can subtly influence decision-making. When someone does not pause annually to reflect on growth, they may drift. Reflection provides psychological recalibration. It allows individuals to update goals, acknowledge resilience, and integrate experience. Avoiding reflection can delay self-awareness. Now, how do psychologists analyze such behavior? We look beyond the surface statement. I don't care about birthdays. We observe tone, micro-expressions, and physiological responses. Does the person smile genuinely when discussing it, or does their jaw tighten? Do they recall childhood birthdays with warmth or vagueness? Are there patterns of minimizing? Other personal milestones? We explore belief systems. What does celebrating yourself mean to you? Often, the language they use reveals core schemas. Words like selfish, pointless, awkward, or unnecessary are clues. We also examine attachment narratives. During clinical interviews, we might ask about early family rituals. Were they consistent? Were they safe? Did the child feel seen? Memory gaps or emotional flatness around those questions can indicate learned detachment. Behavioral analysis also includes looking at contradictions. Does the person claim indifference yet check their phone frequently that day? Do they seem slightly disappointed if no one remembers? These discrepancies reveal unmet needs. Cognitive patterns are another focus. Some individuals hold rigid beliefs such as age equals decline, or if I'm not where I should be by now, I've failed. Birthdays intensify these cognitions. Minimization becomes avoidance of self-critique. In therapy, challenging such beliefs can reduce the emotional weight of the date. It is important to emphasize that not celebrating is not inherently unhealthy. Psychological health is defined by flexibility and authenticity. If a person genuinely feels neutral and at peace, if they have strong relationships, stable self-worth, and emotional openness in other areas, treating a birthday normally is simply a personal preference. Problems arise when indifference is defensive. Rather than authentic, at its core, the psychology of people who treat their birthday like a normal day is about their relationship with self-recognition. It is about how safe it feels to be seen, how worthy they feel of pause, how they process time, and how they learn to handle expectation. Some do it from strength, grounded in internal validation. Others do it from quiet self-protection, shaped by experiences where celebration felt uncertain or undeserved. If we listen carefully, birthdays tell stories. Not about age, but about identity. When someone shrugs and says, "It's just another day," the real question is not whether they want a party. The real question is how they learn to relate to the idea of themselves being important for no reason other than existing. And in that answer lies a map of their emotional history, their coping mechanisms, and their capacity for self-acceptance. Understanding this allows us to respond with empathy rather than assumption. Instead of forcing celebration or dismissing indifference, you can ask gentle questions, respect boundaries, and create space for authentic choice. Because whether someone lights candles or turns off the lights, the psychology behind that decision is deeply human.